Hunting is in my family's blood, and for my father Greg and I, it's our whole way of life. This is our playground and these are our adventures.
Oh yeah, baby. Paddle hard, go right.
Oh, look at that chamois. Is that the big buck? Which one is it? He's going ballistic.
Oh, what's that?
Woohoo, 14-inch bull.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
This week we're on the west coast of the South Island where we'll be completing a massive alpine mission chasing tahr and chamois in the Southern Alps. We've trucked down the coast this morning and we're now at our kick-off point, which is the Karangarua Road Bridge. Our intended route from here is up the Karangarua River and then branch off up the Regina, and then we're going to hunt our way up to the head of the Regina, climb out the head of the Regina, and then traverse along the glaciers of the Sierra Range to the foot of Mount Sifton. Then we're going to attempt the summit of Mount Sifton, which is the second highest peak outside the Mount Cook, Mount Tasman cluster. Now Mount Sifton has special significance for our family because it was the last peak my grandfather climbed in about 1930 before he lost his leg in the 1931 Napier earthquake. Then we're going to hunt our way down into the Copeland River where we're going to meet our mate Blair. Now Blair will have carried our pack rafts and his kayak all the way up the Copeland from the car park to join us. Then we're going to blow up our boats, jump in the river and attempt the first descent of the Copeland River all the way back down to the car park. Well, that's what Blair tells us anyway.
Dad somehow managed to convince Mum to join us on our epic journey, and now we'll begin the first leg up to Castle Flat Hut. First stretches along the Karangarua River, and then we'll cut into the bush. We'll be floating down here in 7 or 8 days' time, all things going to plan.
As hot as it is this afternoon, that river's very inviting.
We'll soon branch off the Karangarua River and we'll make our way into the bush. We're right up to Castle Flat. Aside from being very humid, the 4-hour walk into Castle Flat Hut was a good icebreaker to kick off the trip. It saw us arriving just as darkness began to descend on the valley.
Here it is, dear. You're home away from home for the night.
I know. I'm so pleased we're here.
The only hut you're going to get to stay in for the trip. So make the most of it.
I just want to get this pack off my back.
Sweet and sour lamb, a cup of tea, and then hit the pit. I think Fee's already asleep. And then up the Regina tomorrow.
After a very muggy night in the hut, we're all packed up. 8 AM, we're going to cross the river and make our way up the Regina. And the rain hasn't hit, so we might get a hunt in this morning yet. Our first task for the day was to cross the Karangarua River, and thankfully a cable car makes this a quick and easy procedure.
Okay.
Oh, this beats swimming. We're just making our way up through this beautiful native bush forest, up to the 3-wire bridge. We'll cross the Regina and head up the other side. You can see the head of the Regina up behind us with a bit of mist rolling around, and that's where we want to get to tonight for an evening hunt. And to get there, I think we've got a few hours of boulder hopping, bashing through the bush. So we'll see you there, hopefully about 5 PM. Upon reaching the first major clearing up the Regina, it was neat to see some of the locals were on show to welcome us into their valley. They had no need to worry though, as it was going to have to be a good chamois buck before we'd be wanting to make their acquaintance.
There was actually 3 of them. The other 2 got my wind when I first hit the river, but that one hung around. So that's lunch. We'll carry on up the valley and hopefully this rain won't set in too much and we'll make the head.
The afternoon proved nothing short of a tiresome slog, pushing up through damp bush and clambering around slippery boulders.
There's 2 words that I think sum up today pretty well. Bloody big. Big hills, big packs, big boulders, big grunts going up through the tight west coast forest, and we've now made camp at the head of the valley. It's been raining since about 10 AM this morning, so it's been bloody miserable. Forecast is looking pretty good for the morning, so hopefully we'll get amongst some tar and chamois.
We woke to a little bit of blue sky this morning, but it's since clouded in again. We had a bit of a glass around. There's a few tar here and there in the hills around us. Anyway, we've packed up and we're going to climb on up this creek bed and get above the scrub line onto the open tops.
Oh, team effort to get up these bluffs.
Yeah, no, well it looks like it flattens off just here and then there's one last pinch, but we'll nearly be in the open then, around the top of that bluff and hopefully find a tarn or some water. Just spotted a tar on that ledge up there. Just a nanny, I think, isn't it?
Since spotting that tar and leaving the creek, we've bashed up through the alpine monkey scrub for about an hour. Dad shot up ahead, so Mum and I are just heading up the ridge to see what he's seen and see if there's water or a campsite or animals. What are you seeing?
7 good bulls so far. There's one you can still see sitting down here. He's the only one who's still there. See him sitting there just above that rock. But yeah, there was a couple over there that were pushing the 13, I'd say.
There's a bull. See a bull sitting there, right hand edge above that white rock. How good you reckon?
I think his left tip's broken. There's a whole group of nannies and things up here, look at all these. Well, we decided that bull down there, he's a nice gnarly old bull, but he's got one broomed off tip, his left tip's well broomed off, and he'd probably struggle on that side to go much more than 11.5 inches, so we're leaving him. These ones I saw over here, a couple of those were definitely better, but they've gone down into the scrub face where they'll stay for the day, but they'll more than likely feed their way back out tonight. So we're going to go around, try and find a campsite with some water, and then come back around here later on, tar time.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
Lunch with a view. What a spot. You can't beat a fine day after days of rain. Everything's spread out drying, wet socks, boots, tents, packs. And there's even 2 bull tahr having lunch about 300 yards just underneath us.
A few hours have ticked by and it's now nearly approaching 6 p.m. We had a brief cold snap there and it brought all the animals out. And it's a little bit balmy now, but they're moving out and about. We've seen quite a few mobs of tahr. We're just looking for that big, wide, mature bull for mum. So spotters out, we're picking over them. Good points, bad points, looking for width, height in the bases, turn in. And the handy thing about these spring and summer bulls is they've now left the nannies and they're mobbed together. So you get a really good gauge of how good each bull is because they're side by side and big mobs. You can actually pick out the really good ones. I don't reckon any of those top ones are probably good enough. What about sidling around up high and trying to get close with the camera?
Those 2 in the scrub look quite good. Both of them definitely worth checking out further. Yeah.
All right, let's go anyway.
He's not a bad bull, that one. It's definitely the widest one there. He's probably the best one there. Well, that was a pretty big group of bulls in the end. There was a good dozen there. Those 2 that we wanted to check out when we left camp have come up out of that scrub face and they were just under here, and I spooked one up here, got my wind and took off down there, and they all ended up mobbing up into one big group, running around fighting and playing together. So yeah, that one with a bit of a mane, that darker one, he was the best bull there. Nice wide head, quite thin in the bases though. So we'll look a bit more. We're going to leave that bull. We might regret it later, but anyway, that's the decision at this stage. We've got about a couple of hours of light left. Willie's already had to go back to sort the tents out because just after we left, this gale force southeaster came up and it was flattening them.
Well, from my end, the tents are still in one piece. I've flattened them and we'll sort that soon, but more importantly, there's some bulls. Those bulls we saw earlier fed right up underneath us here, so let's pop over the ridge and see how good they are. But those were bloody close, about 40-50 yards. Awesome to see. Very lucky they're not an inch or 2 bigger. Oh well, 9:30. Seen a few more tahr, but nothing that definite 13 inches. So now we're gonna pop over to our relocated campsite, thanks to Mum and Dad. Settle in to dinner. Red sky at night, hunter's delight, should be good for the morning. It's 8:30 AM on day 4 of our trip, and we're just packing up and mentally preparing ourselves for the big climb up that snow gutter, up to the skyline and then along the ridge.
It's a fair way from here, a lot further than it looks. There's a lot more altitude to gain yet, and then once we hit the top, then we're going to traverse our way along all the glaciers to hopefully Welcome Pass tonight as our end destination. That's a bit more pleasant. Snow blindness can get you a pretty damn quick half an hour of this with no sunnies, with a good high UV rating, and you're in trouble. Crampons on for the first time for the trip. We'll be living in them for the next few days. And so it begins. We've gone from hunters to climbers in the space of about half an hour. So we're just sneaking up the edge of this old avalanche chute. Not that one will come down this time of day, but if it did, we can just jump onto the rocks.
Oh, look at that awesome view over there. Wow.
Don't put too much weight on that rock. Put down weight on it, but not back weight. Go up to your right probably a bit. Stand upright more.
Up here looks okay.
Right about now, I was cursing the ridiculous 30 kilo packs we were carrying, which included all our climbing gear, all our hunting gear, and even 60-metre ropes and a snow shovel.
Finally, we're back on the right side of point 2240. We've got the Pilkington Glacier there. We were planning on coming up there, but somehow we ended up on the wrong side of this knob. Anyway, that's our direction. Lunch down the bottom of the hill. We've had lunch and now we're about to start the glacier travel. So you see we're all roped up into glacier travel mode with our prussiks on in case someone falls in a crevasse, roughly 8 or 10 metres between each of us. And that's the way we'll travel from here right through to Welcome Pass. So we're going to make our way around here under Mount Glorious and then traverse along the head of Horace Walker and hopefully dodge these crevasses. Just make sure you keep the ropes tight, guys, and keep your eyes peeled for crevasses, obviously. Massive Serac field down there, stunningly beautiful, but not something I want to weave my way through.
Here we are, the saddle at the head of the Horace Walker Glacier. Not quite Welcome Pass, but given that it's now 10 PM and we left camp at 8:30 AM this morning, we've only had a half-hour break for lunch, I think it's probably fair to call quits here for the night. Well, it's a clear night and it is bloody freezing out there. Cold in here too. We've had a brew, we've had our backcountry, and we're treating ourselves to a backcountry pudding, apricot crumble tonight, because it's been a huge day. Feet are very sore, and we'll see what the morning brings, but we might be getting up early and having a crack at Sifton. This is NZ Hunter Adventures. So we're now going to traverse around to Welcome Pass, drop the heavy gear, like the hunting gear, tents, etc. And then take light packs, have a crack at Sifton, and then hopefully drop back down for an evening hunt. All going to plan. we've dropped our gear now, welcome pass, and heading for the summit.
There it is. A mighty Mount Cook. Aoraki Mount Cook. Low peak, middle peak, high peak. Now we start the summit ridge. Just climb this side. He's called out, that's me, that means she's out of rope, time to look for a belay station. So she's climbing quicker than I can take the rope in. And here it is, the summit of Mount Sifton. Unbelievable feeling. My grandfather and Willie's great-grandfather stood on top of here back in 1930. So it's quite a few years ago now. It's almost emotional. And then unfortunately lost his leg in the 1931 earthquake just afterwards, and that was the end of that. But so this one's for you, Reginald Bull, my mum's father.
Well, if it wasn't for this rope, I don't think I would have got up here. Greg dragging me all the way up. But the views are well worth it.
So Mount Sifton's 3,150 metres, and it's the second highest peak outside the Mount Cook, Mount Tasman, Mount Hicks cluster over there. Multi-Broon over there is 3,199. So that's the first highest, and this is the second highest. And here we are, on top of the world.
It's been a long time in the making, but we've finally summited Sifton. I don't think there'll be many families that have 3 generations to have stood right on top of here. Anyway, we're going to have some lunch, a brew to rehydrate, and then we'll down climb back through the Karras and Serac field, and then hopefully drop down in some tar country for a hunt tonight, but we'll see how time goes.
Now it's time to hightail it back through the crevasses, and I think we'll be spending the night at Welcome Pass.
Welcome to our open plan sleeping quarters. We have the retirement village here on the left, and the young guys on the right. We've just put the 2 MSR tents right next to each other. We're camped right in the heart of Welcome Pass. Didn't get that hunt in this evening, which we were hoping for. Just the hours tick by on that snow travel. It's been a pretty big trip. The feet are looking a bit worse for wear. I think too much long sitting on computer editing and not enough walking this summer. It's the morning of day 6. Feeling pretty buggered, and the boss actually gave us a sleep until 7 AM, so pretty thankful for that. Feeling very sunburnt. The team got roasted out on that snow in reflection from the sun yesterday. We're going to have a brew, have some brekkie, and then drop down to Takano Glacier and get into hunting mode.
Camp's all packed up and we're back in Glacier travel mode. So we're just going to get down this bit of a steep bank here and then traverse the Takano Glacier over onto the ridge. Let's get going. The clouds rolled in now, so she's whiteout conditions just to make it tricky.
We've dropped and sidled around from Welcome Pass, and we're now making our way down into the Copeland, and with a bit of luck we should soon be taking our crampons off.
Finally let loose from dragging the team behind me.
Now we can do our own thing, eh?
Mum might be nagging at me for going too fast. We've got to spot height 1800. We're stopping for lunch and the wind burners are melting snow. We had a visit from IKEA. This is a great vantage point, but we're going to drop down and find a lower vantage point that's not so far away, so that if we see something, we're into business quick smart when the animals start to move this afternoon.
You can clearly see our morning's route up above. We started in the Welcome Pass, which is the lowest point in the high saddle there. We traversed down to the right along the Takano Glacier, out to the ridge here, and then down through the saddle to lunch spot here. And I'm pretty glad it was in cloud, because looking at the face there, it looks pretty rough now. We've found a suitable rock to camp behind tonight, which should give us good shelter from that wind that's meant to pick up. The only problem is about 9 bloody Kias have found the camp also. We've had a bit of a glass, spotted one nice looking bull down below us in the basin, but the fog's rolling in. Fingers crossed the fog will stay off and we'll be able to have a good look. But he looked like a good bull in that 13-inch bracket, good mass. So he'd definitely be a taker for Mum, but we'll just see what the evening brings.
I think we'll grab the gear and head back over and check that other face.
I might as well drop down here with the radio, park up, keep an eye over this valley, and you can take Mum and check the back face.
So I come round onto this other face and there's all the bulls I saw earlier here. There's a big group of nannies and young bulls down in there. There's a pretty good bull down on this speargrass face down here. And there's another reasonable one over there. That's at first glance. We haven't really had a chance to have a good look yet. This fella's not bad.
It was a magical night to be in the mountains, with a good number of tahr out partaking in their evening feeding ritual. And after picking over every bull on the face, it looked like Mum and Dad had finally found a shooter.
I've seen a pretty good dark bull down here. We think we'll go pretty close to 13. So we're going to have a crack at him. He's about 480 yards away. We're just getting our favourite old 7mm Fat Max set up with a muzzle brake and bipod, and then Phil get into action.
Yeah, I can see him. There's 2 of them, and there's one really nice dark coloured one. He's about 500, no, 499 yards.
Come on, camera, hurry up. Okay, I've got him.
Broadside now. Yeah.
Okay, not while he's walking, Fee, wait. Okay, there you go. No, he's walking, stop, wait. I've got to get the camera back on him. Okay, there you go, Fee, take him now. Shot, good shot, that's a dead bull. It's a dead bull. Great shot, Fee.
Good.
Great shot.
Oi.
Precious
Oi.
shot. What?
Don't get too
You hang
close.
on to the gun. Hang on to the gun. Don't want to lose it over the edge now. This favourite old gun.
Can
Done
I?
the job again. So I've just been speaking to Willie on the radio, and he's got a mob of bulls in front of him, but he needs the spotter to see how good they are. So I think we're going to leave Fee's one for the morning, because we've got a big bluff in front of us. We're going to have to do quite a big detour to get round there to him. And we'll race back and see if we can see what Willie's got in front of him. Let's go.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures. So Mum and Dad have dropped down and joined me. I've been watching a lot of bulls here tonight, probably 20-25 bulls. There's mature bulls there, definitely over 12 inch. Finally got Dad back with the spotter and he's just going to have a look and see how good he thinks they are. Well, Dad, you've had a look at my bulls, the bull tail that is, a brief look, and what do you think of them?
That one on the other side of the valley, I think he's definitely worth a closer inspection.
Yep.
But it's too dark to film the shooting, so just hope we can still find him in the morning. Bloody hard to find them in the morning though, normally by daybreak they're back in the scrub, but if it was light enough we might have evaluated them on the ground.
Awesome to see so many bulls, but it's getting dark. Let's hope the kids haven't wrecked the camp and let's go get some dinner underway. The following morning dawned overcast, and we wasted no time in dropping down to try and catch out the group of bulls that we've been beaten to by darkness the previous night. Oh, there's two bulls just below us. Well, there's two young bulls by the looks of it just below us. Just to the left of that rocky outpoint. There's one appeared off to the right in the bushes. There's the two creeks, halfway in between in that mumble jumble.
Quite a big old bull there with a lot of height, but he's got no width. And then the other one's got lots of width, but not great tips. But it's big, wide, heavy bases on it. Like, definitely a shooter. We've got to shoot that bugger.
We've dropped down the hill to get within shooting range. Mum's with us now. Dad's getting the rifle set up. The bulls are slowly fitting back into that scrub, so times are ticking to get a shot away. Two good looking bulls there. One's got better tips, the other one's a bit wider, so we're going to make a call on which one's better and try to get Mum on it.
Okay, can you see the one on the rock?
Yes, yeah, I can see the one on the rock.
Okay, so get comfortable and steady on that. Are you ready, Fee? Just hang on. He's moving. Okay, there's a better shot, Fee. Wait. Is everybody ready? Okay, straight up the front leg, Fee. Squeeze it off, straight up the front leg. Squeeze it off. Hit him, good shot, smacked him. Real good solid hit. I can see him down, he's just gone down. Great shot, Fee. Great shot, Mum. Great shot.
Thanks. Oh, you put me in another awkward perching position again.
Oh, it's just the way it seems to be in this steep country on bulls.
Looks like a nice dark bull.
He's a beautiful dark animal. Oh well. 2 shots, 2 bulls.
Thank you.
Proud. We're proud to have you as a member of our family, Mum.
Thank you.
Not only can you climb mountains, but you can shoot straight.
I'm not so sure about climbing the mountains. I'm not as much of a mountain goat as you two.
All right, that's awesome. So we're a whole, I suppose we're 100 yards below camp, aren't we? Let's wander up the camp, have some breakfast, and then we'll drop in to last night's bull and go and recover that one. Back up to camp, pack camp up, and then drop down in here and recover this morning's bull.
When you're tahr hunting, you often end up shooting very steeply either up or downhill, as you've seen us doing on this trip. And a lot of people don't realise this has an effect on the flight of your bullet. Gravity causes your bullet to drop from the minute it leaves the muzzle of the gun, but it has progressively less and less effect on the drop of the bullet compared to your line of sight the further up or downhill you go. And to illustrate this, if you think about it, if you fire a bullet absolutely straight up in the air, it will turn around and come straight back down in the same place. And in relation to your line of sight looking straight up in the air, that bullet has not dropped at all. Whereas horizontal to the Earth's surface, you get the full effect of gravity and the full drop on the bullet. So the steeper the angle and the longer the distance, the more significant this effect is. 200 yards, forget about it, doesn't matter how steep. 300 yards, I'd start to worry about it over about 25 degrees. 500 yards, you're really going to have to worry about it over 15 degrees. Range-finding binoculars like Swarovski's EL range have an inclometer built into them that measures the actual angle of the shot. And then it's got a little ballistic function built into it that then does a calculation and gives you the actual distance that gravity is going to affect that bullet. On this example here, on that rock face up there, that's 37 degrees, it's 567 yards. My true ballistic range is 470, which is the distance the bullet's travelling around the Earth's surface, and that is the distance you have to allow for the bullet's drop. So there's almost 100 yard range shortening due to the steep angle of that shot. That 100 yard shortening of the range from the line of sight to the TBR with this particular rifle and load is worth about 15 inches less drop. So that's a classic example of why it's important to always consider the angle of the shot.
We're now dropping down to Mum's bull. It's pretty steep down here, so we've got the abseiling gear. Mum's bull's across on this face, and we're just going to see how we go.
So we're going to put a double rope down and we'll abseil down and just leave the rope there, go and recover Mum's bull, and it'll just make it easy. We can pretty much climb back up safely. We might run a prusik as a safety backup as we come up. Pick up the gear and back up the camp.
On the way to recover Mum's first bull, we encountered a few nannies up close in the snowgrass, and they were one of only a few family groups we had seen for the trip.
There's flies blowing around here. He's going to be here somewhere.
Yeah, here he is. He's here in the creek. No, he's gone head first. There's no way I can lift him out.
Couldn't get a better shot than that, Spee. Smack on the money. How could we have ever doubted you?
And there he is. You may think we're mad, passing up all those bulls early on in the trip, but this is what we're holding out for. An 8-year-old 13-inch bull. 13, that was the benchmark. Mum wanted a 13-inch bull, and she's got one, a real beauty, but over 13 this fella. Mum pulled off a great shot at steeply downhill, about 480 yards, hanging over the edge of that bluff up there. It wasn't a hell of a comfortable doing it, were you, dear?
No, it was a horrible shooting rest. I wasn't very happy there, but I'm very happy with the bull. He's a beautiful dark bull, and of course very happy with his length. My best so far.
One good thing about summer tartar, good to eat. Well, this old fella might be a little bit chewy, will need a bit of aging. Now we're going to drop down in and recover Mum's bull from this morning and hope like hell this rain holds off, because there's some 180 mils forecast for later on this afternoon, this evening. We don't want that to hit us, just for a wee while yet.
This is NZ Hunter Adventures.
So this is the rock he was standing on when C shot him. He was standing right here. Just down there is where we last saw him, where he fell over. Thrashed in the bushes and then fell over. So he's just in there somewhere. Should be right there somewhere.
He's here, right here.
Oh, here he is. Yeah.
I need two.
Excellent. What does he look like?
A bit of horn there.
Whoa, whoa. 13 and an 8. Two 13s. And this one will actually score better because he hasn't got a broken tip. And that's even with a bit of ridging missing. There it is. Mum's morning bull. Slightly bigger than her evening bull. Another ripper. 8 or maybe 9-year-old bull, this one. His rings get a bit mixed up down low. He's been through some funny winter-summer cycles there, I think, but he's another cracker old bull with big chunks missing off him. Great character.
Thanks, guys. Another great team effort, and I'm pleased to have another wonderful bull here.
Best little lightweight knife in the business. Actually better nick than that other one. Bloody weather's hit us. We were hoping we had another hour or so we could have just got down the waterfall, but nope. She's in on us now. Let's go, boys. All right, time to set up the first abseil. 60-metre rope should get to the bottom, hopefully not in the middle of a big pool. I think we'll get Willie to go down first. He smells a bit, he needs a wash.
Piece of piss, as Dad would say. Oh good, looks like I'm going to end up in the water somewhere. Nice little ledge here. Slippery. Whoop.
Way you go, dear. And you see you go round that way, once where the rope is, just follow the rope. Lean back. Lean back.
Come over this way, Mum. Well, that's deep, don't go in there. Come this way. I'll swing you this way. You're right. Wow, that is the creek from hell. We abseiled down the first part and that was fine, and then we got a rope stuck in some boulders, so we took a bit of mucking around there. It's now 9 PM, it's been raining on and off, just stopped. Just made our way down through here, which isn't too bad, and just the last step down off here.
The last step, which sounded so easy, soon turned into a full 60-metre abseil down a sheer rock face.
Oh, take it easy. Lean out of the face and walk backwards, Mum. Nearly there. Nice one. Good effort. Safe!
After a fairly entertaining time getting down those waterfalls in the creek, we finally made it out to the main river, and we're now at a nice and dry rock bivvy in the Copeland. Weather permitting in the morning, we'll start the boating. Well, it's been raining all night, as well as yesterday afternoon, as you saw during our walk down. You can hear the rivers are roaring, so that's going to make it fun. We've now met up with Blair, our whitewater expert, and he's going to jump in Fee's pack raft for the first run down to Welcome Flat, and Fee's going to walk that section with some of the gear. So let's get into it.
Yeah, g'day, my name's Blair, and met these NZ Hunter crew last year when I was working up the Copeland here. They came over Copeland Pass, heard they were coming back. I'm a pretty passionate kayaker, I know the river quite well, so jumped at the chance to come and see them down safely. We've had a bit of rain, there's a bit of water in the river, it's looking good, so should be pretty exciting to see how they do in these pack crafts with a bunch of mountain gear in them. Super passionate kayaker, I've been paddling for probably about 15 years or so now. Spent a lot of time all over the world, Canada, Africa, Tibet, Central South America, and a decent amount of time in New Zealand here. I know the Copeland really well. I spent a lot of time on it last summer, and I just love it out here. It's a beautiful place, and time on the river is a great way to spend time, no matter what the river really. So pretty stoked to show these guys down here and show them some of the quality whitewater that the river possesses, and make it a safe trip also.
And that's a pack raft. One man, 2.3 kilo, blow up sort of inflatable kayak sort of. So this is just like a simple cram bag. Just open it up, fill it full of air, stick between your knees, squash it into the raft or the boat. Takes about 6 of those to blow one up. You just finish it off by mouth. All right, so we're just about ready to go. jump in the boats and off down to Welcome Flat. Mum's walked down and Blair's taking her boat down to there until we catch up with this kayak. Pulled out of the river at Welcome Flat Hut, and now we've got everything loaded back in our packs. Because of last night's rain, the river's well up, as you will have seen from that bit of boating this morning, and there's a really wicked gorge between here and Architect Creek called the Punch Bowl, and we're not going to try and boat that. So we're going to portage from here down to Architect Creek, blow up the boats, back in for the final float out to the bridge.
We're now down below Architect Creek, flying up the rafts, and a lot of the gear is going in this really handy feature of these alpaca rafts, which is the cargo storage facility, which is in the sides and the tubes, which keeps a really low centre of gravity, and then you only have a light pack on top.
Oh, woohoo! You! God, nice work, Willie. You nailed that one, buddy. Yeah, and I wish your old man could do the same thing. Paddle hard! Move it! Move it! Chee-hee!
As we pedalled the last few kilometres out to where we had started 8 days earlier at the Karangarua Road Bridge, it signalled an end to our trip and one of the biggest adventures we've undertaken yet. It was truly an epic trip and it's going to be hard to beat. But be sure to tune back in next week as we head south to hunt the mighty Fiordland Wapiti. A huge thank you must go out to our loyal family of sponsors. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring the beautiful New Zealand backcountry and the majestic animals that roam it into your living rooms every week. We rely on their products to perform out in the field, so you can be assured if we're using it, it's good gear that will stand the test of time. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and be sure to grab a copy of the latest NZ Hunter magazine, the Bible of Hunting in New Zealand.